Welcome to After LUTV News. I'm Claire Roberston. Today we will discuss interesting topics in news and pop culture with our panel of university press and LUTV news reporters. With Super Tuesday in the rearview mirror, the race to the November election has hit overdrive. Many disagree over politics. A 2019 joint study conducted by Louisiana State University and the University of Maryland found that 42% of people in each party view the other side as downright evil. So panel, in what has been termed a divided nation, can people remain friends and have different political beliefs and values? And if so, how do you maintain civility online and in person?
Yes, people can be friends and have differing political opinions. Simply because someone does not have a view of you does not deem them as outright scary or evil. We live in a society where people have a sight of fear, a perception of fear, that because if someone thinks something that they don't believe, that it's going to create anarchy or chaos, and that's not true.
I think it's easy to sit here and say that yes, we can agree to disagree and we can move on with our lives, but the way that people talk to each other on social media, the way people interact with each other in real life,
that's what gets out of hand. It's the way people talk to each
sort
other
of
on social media.
It sort of proves that we kind of can't. This is the world that we live in where, is it right? No, it's not right at all. We should be able to have civil conversations with each other about things that we disagree with, but unfortunately the reality of the situation is that seems kind of impossible given the evidence that we see online in the debates going on right now with the Democratic nominees. I think it's kind of a far-fetched dream.
Well, sometimes political conversations can feel so personal that it's hard to remain civil because it feels like you're talking about yourself and your own experiences and other people not feel it that way. Or other times, I feel like I personally just choose to not engage. I mean, I'm unfollowing people, unfriending people if I don't like what they post. So I don't think that's really maintaining civility.
And I think that's pretty much, generally that's what I do. I just unfollow if I feel like they don't, I don't think that that's a good idea to do that, me, myself.
Right.
I unfollow people if I feel like they don't share the same views as me. And it's like, I don't really want that on my timeline. I'm like, oh, I don't believe what you're saying, so then, and let me get rid of it.
Because it makes me mad.
Yeah, it makes me mad, but then I should be able to just let them get their point across and share their opinion. But like you said, I just get rid of them. Like I don't want to see that.
You don't have to deem it as right, but as people, we're going to live in a society where I might not be comfortable with something Chandler says, but at the end of the day, that's his opinion. Now, we can't speak for everyone, but I believe we have a duty to ourselves and the rest of society to be acceptable of certain people. You don't have to necessarily be personal friends with them and be around them, but you kind of have to allow them to feel how they feel.
It kind of reaches to, but that only goes to a certain extent. For example, Donald Trump says a lot of horrible things about immigration.
He definitely does.
Latino populations. If you're somebody who is dealing with that issue, if you're a Latino or if you're an immigrant and you feel animosity towards those beliefs, and you meet somebody that says, I agree with Donald Trump on this, they're all bad people, you would probably not agree with that person and you would not care what their opinion is. You would just say, you're wrong and I don't want to associate with you anymore, and that could cause a stir. I mean, you could totally understand in certain aspects and certain issues why people would say or start a war in the comment section of a video or a Facebook post, because a lot of these policies are not just passive. They are things that are happening that are involving people, there are things that are happening to people that go beyond just, I believe this because this. It is actually, there are real world consequences to beliefs, and you could totally see why somebody would go against that.
And that's a distinction I wanted to make, is that there's some issues that I think are political that I can get over if one of my acquaintances differs. Like a lot of the Democratic candidates have policies that they want to enforce for like debt forgiveness. And if someone feels differently than me about debt forgiveness, it's really not going to make me lose any sleep at night. But there are issues that I don't think are political, that I think are human rights, that would be very hard for me to forgive a friend or a family member if we weren't aligned.
How I feel like when it comes to something like the immigration and the borders and everything like that, that is something where it's like, that's where I draw the line. Some things I could just get over, like, that's your own personal view. You have the right to feel that way. But I feel like when it comes to us as being humans and having our own rights, And it's just, some things are just not right and just not morally right to where that should be appropriate to pull a small child away from its parents, you know, from their parents and everything like that. I feel like that is not morally right to do that to somebody. So I cannot have your back with your views for that.
So how do you think we should interpret this study that was mentioned in the opening, this joint study conducted where 42% of people in each party view the other side as downright evil? We're not really saying that.
No.
And you know what I'm asking about this study, the 42%, yes, there was a survey conducted, but why did they deem them as outright evil? Like, what facts or statements did they show to make these people feel this way? Because as we said, we can have opinions, but then I feel they're extreme. So where do we draw the line between being friends based off of an opinion, or if we see something as an extreme view?
And also, when was this poll conducted? What mindset were the people answering the questions in? If the previous night before the poll, you see blatant information from the opposite party, and it's wrong and you disagree with it horribly, then you're going to say, like, how could somebody believe in that? So whenever the next day somebody's like, hey, what do you think of the other party? Of course you're going to say they're evil because I saw this online.
Well, it was conducted in 2019, so people were talking about a presidential candidate at this time.
I think it has to be a little bit extreme for me to just say somebody's just pure evil with what they're saying. It has to be like a little bit more for me to just say, oh no, they're just pure evil. I don't like them, they're just evil. No.
I think that shows the power of social media as well,
Yeah.
because
It definitely does.
there is a wall between you and the person and those beliefs, because
Yeah.
whenever you see the post or whatever you're watching, you only see that post. You don't see the personality or the human behind the post. You
Right.
only see the surface level of what you get.
Exactly.
So you lose a little bit of that humanity there.
Absolutely.
Yeah. Well, thank you guys. And thank you so much for tuning into After LUTV News. Be sure to like us on Facebook and follow us on Twitter for more LUTV content. See you next time.